Hey guys, how's it going? James here from Audio.etc. So today on the Legacy I'm doing pretty much what I did yesterday, trying to mount my crossovers in the left hand side here, similar to what I've done with my amplifier over on the right hand side here. See, if I just lift this up, this piece of cardboard here is just a temporary protection sort of thing. I am going to replace that with a piece of clear acrylic or perspex possibly, and when that's in there you can see through to the amplifier. So I'm going to do the same thing on the left hand side. I have this masking tape perimeter marked here because I don't want to go any further forward than that, because under here, under this tape, is this handle thing for the jack which follows that line there, and I want to be able to leave that in its factory location. So what I'm pretty much going to do is just try and figure out what size window I want to make for the crossovers, which in here I haven't got the actual crossovers with me, but I do have some shells which are the same size. That's the size of them. There's going to be two of them, so I'll have one. Actually, I could just get the second one out. Two, and you'll see through a window into there. I just need to match this size and shape sort of thing. I want to make it look as symmetrical or similar as possible. Looks like it is going to be a wee bit offset, because for the amplifier I've gone a bit further forwards than I will for the crossovers, but when they're spaced apart you're not going to notice a difference. It's just only when they're up close that you'll notice a difference. I could probably even use the exact same size window, maybe a wee bit smaller. Okay guys, so I've got the hole marked out that I pretty much need to cut. I had this masking tape here to let me know where the my barrier was that I could go up to. So what I did to begin with was I marked that line with the pen, and then I measured in the same distance here as what it is here. So I've got it symmetrical in that aspect, there's the same amount of gap there, and then I placed the crossovers sort of like that to figure out what their total footprint was going to be. And then once I had that marked, I could put my piece of card that I've made up, which is like the size of the window that I'm going to have, which is slightly smaller. And then I just centered it, traced it, made sure all the lines are square and straight, and now I can cut this out. So now comes the long and painful part. There we go. Another sore, cramped hand later. Got the piece cut out. There's my left hand one and my right hand one. I managed to actually get the tin off the bottom of this one, so I might try and do that with this, because it was working with my vice grips before. Because I did snap this yesterday, and I didn't want to do that because I was hoping I could keep these so that in the event of me ever selling the car, if I can't get parts cheap, I can just sort of pop these back in. But I'm going to try and get that tin foil off at some point. But yeah, I got it in. This cardboard fits damn perfectly, and I reckon I actually did this hole better than I did that one. This one turned out, I think, a lot cleaner. I think I just did a lot more stroking sort of cuts, as opposed to when I did the other one. I had my my other craft knife there, which is a bit stronger, and I was kind of like pushing down and pressure cutting it as I went along, whereas this I just did heaps of strokes. So it definitely cut a lot better. So, let's see what this might sort of look like. If we had the two crossovers right next to each other, like so, it's probably going to look something like that. That's cool, I'm happy with that. That's a good fit. That's going to look cool. So where this sits in here now is the question. So what I could probably do actually is mark this foam, and that way I know what I have to cut out. I wonder if my pen may write on it, I'm not sure. Obviously I have to cut out a bit more than this, because this is just the window size. So I just got to remember not to cut this line, to cut a bit bigger than it. But I know this is like the center. There we go. That's approximately where the window is in line with. I just need to remember to go a bit wider. Okay. So now to get this out, I do need to get this whole center piece out. Normally this is popped down, but I just I took the pops out yesterday when I did the amplifier, so it was just sitting in there for now. So we'll probably take a bunch of this tape off now anyway. Okay, so I got the hole cut. Looks like I've got it in pretty much the right spot. There's a bit of movement here and there, which is good. It's good to have a bit of leeway, I guess. Possibly a wee bit, not enough that way, but I'm not sure. What I do need to do now is figure out if there's going to be room for all the cables and stuff to come out, which looks like there isn't. So what I might be able to do is, what happens if I flip it this way? These should theoretically just go there. If I just get them lined up right. It's just a couple of spots that I won't be able to get wires out, like at this end here, and maybe some at this end here. So I just need to cut a couple of slices out. Okay guys, so I got the hole pretty much cut out, and I removed a couple of, like a chunk from this end and some foam around this end to allow the wires all to pop out, because you can see on this where the screw holes for them are. So the wires can still come out depending on what end they're at. And the other thing I did was on the underside, I cut out a piece here and a piece here, which will give room for the speaker wires that are on the floor there to run into where the crossovers actually are. Hold on a second. Okay, so as I was saying, I cut the hole, and what I've done is I've removed some foam from the underside of here. At first I thought it was just going to go straight to the crossovers, but then I realized that by the time I have the crossover in here, the base, which will probably come up level with this, and then a piece of wood to mount it on, which will be level with all this, there's not going to be any room for the wires to come through. So I've cut a channel here, and then down in here there is a hole poking out the other side there, where I can get the wires through into that cavity and to the input side of the speakers, or to the output side. That'll be the output side, and then this here will be the input channel, where the wires will just sort of duck in somewhere. Actually, is that going to work as well? I don't know, because I've got to get to here somewhere. I may have to cut this channel a wee bit more just to allow the speaker wires to actually get to this sort of gap down here, because right there is going to be the body of the crossover and wood and shit. So I may have to modify this a wee bit more. Hold on. There we go. I've taken a wee chunk out of the corner there, so now the wires can come in, quickly duck across there, out that hole, and to the input sides of the crossovers. So what I think I need to do now is put this in the car, set these sort of in-ish place, get the wires ran through the hole, slowly lift it off, and then I can duct tape the wires down in position. At least I won't have to RTV this piece down to the ground like I did the other side, because this is all still one piece and it will stay stable. So be able to make these blocks is I need some of the actual crossovers because they have the bass on them. Fortunately, we do have a set of these speakers in stock. My ones are at home, but we do have a set that have the basses and everything on them. That looks pretty good. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. That's pretty much the perfect height. Piece of 18mm underneath, but is it the right height at both ends? No, it is not. Although that's kind of like the amp in that sense. It's a wee bit lower at this end than it is at that end. Because as I discovered yesterday when I was doing the amp, this foam isn't the same thickness all the way along. Like the floor actually raises up as you get closer to the front. But, oh no, actually it's about the same. Maybe with some 18mm and a real thin packer. Bang on, sweet as. That's what I need. So I need some 18mm and then a piece of that, whatever thickness that is. 3mm, Jesus. 3mm and yep, 18mm. So what I need total is 21 mils. Okay, I will make up a block which fits in there, which has a piece of this and a piece of this on top of it. Okay, so I got myself a couple of pieces, made this small bit which sits into this groove here, because you won't be able to tell on camera, but this section and down here are raised. So if it goes there, it starts going up on an angle or something. So down in this bottom left corner, it's nice and flat, so that will secure there with screws through the middle. And then this piece, big flat piece, sits over top of it like that. I'll just sort of put that relatively center-ish, and that way I've got some adjustability for the crossovers. They can move around a wee bit. These crossovers are just secured with 2 screws in the opposing corners. In fact, maybe I should, oh wait, see, if I have that all the way, if I have the board all the way hard back, can I still put the screws in at the very front edge? That's the question, or does it miss? No, it still hits, and I think vice versa will work as well. If I have the board all the way forward and the crossover all the way back, still gets the wood, so that's all good. So it doesn't really matter where I put this, these are going to be able to screw in any position. Now, something I should say is under this panel is the exhaust and the muffler, and up there is a guard over the muffler, so there's like the bottom skin, then the guard, and then the muffler. So at least I know I'm not going to go into the muffler. I'll probably just go through the first skin. I might touch on the guard. And something I mentioned it in my video, but I didn't show it. I did for the amp side. You can see all the black spray paint up there. That's black anti-corrosion zinc paint. So I didn't show it on camera, but after I had finished, I did spray those screws with black zinc. So they're not going to corrode and rust out or anything like that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do that on the crossover side just because I can't get to them, but I'm going to try and go as short as possible screws, so long enough, just enough to get through the metal, and that'll be it. I don't want them going any further down. And I'll use I'll put some RTV under the first layer of wood, holding it down with some screws like pushed, like either countersunks or just flat heads that have been screwed through into the wood to hold this down. I'll measure the right length, and then for this one, like, it's too thin to do anything with, so what I may have to do is actually glue this onto that. How am I going to do that? Could I use countersinks? I could use countersinks, I think. Real short countersunk wood screws to go through this one into that one. I just have to make sure I don't do them up too tight. And maybe I'll put like, I don't know, I don't want to add any more thickness in between these two because the height is just perfect. I'll just have to try, I think. We'll just see how that goes, I guess. So what I'll do now real quick is I'll just chuck that in position and go that far forward. That's about as far forward as it can go before it starts to go up a hill or anything. I'll just put that there. I'm going to drill through that and into the middle. Because I don't want to go through too many layers, I want to get this drill bit in the right height. Here's my 2. There we go. Wonder how much depth I actually have through these holes. That's it there. So I've actually got heaps of space between this skin and the shield over the muffler, so that's good to know. So I think what I'll do now is I'll put the block back in, and then I'll try and secure this thin piece on top of it with some more countersinks. Or maybe I could just use the same screws, like just the 4 screws, and I could position this about there. Because if I have, let's line those up. Okay, that's right. Oh, I guess that'll do. Now I can follow those holes through. Now these screw holes all line up and I can countersink through the whole lot. Okay, so I got my 2 pieces sandwiched together. All the screws are lined up and I've got them, like, you know, countersunk through the wood into it so that the crossovers aren't sitting up at all. Just need to... Just flatten out that bit there. So now what I'm going to do is give them a touch of black paint and then it can get RTV on the car and go in. So I'll do the bottom side first, since that doesn't need to dry as well or quickly, I guess. And then I can pick it up and do the top side. This paint isn't going to be on display, so it doesn't matter if it's not the best coat. It's just to make it a bit more stealthy, I guess, or clean looking if you happen to see it when you're servicing parts of the car. There we go. So I'll let that dry. That'll take like literally 5 minutes for the paint to be fully dry. I need to wash my hands though, there's a bit of paint on them and shit now. Okay, so like 2 minutes later, literally this thing is completely dry. Turn that off. From over here, and I can put some silicone in there and then put it in the car. Just pop this thing off, and I might actually put some over the screw holes as well, because that's going to mean that the screws get coated in RTV when they go through, so it'll protect them a bit better. I might put some just around there as well. Okay, screws without those holes with RTV, now it's going to be harder to find them, but I've got them sticking out a wee bit, so should be able to just sort of drop it in here and wriggle it around until they... Oh, I think I might have got them, not sure. Yeah, I think I've got a hole, sweet. Okay, mounting panel is in, sweet. Now I can put the crossovers here, put the panel back on, line them up, and then I can mark where the holes for the mounting points need to be. I did the amp the other way around. I actually mounted the amp to this board first and then had to get this board in the right position, but I think this way is a bit easier. There's one. Only thing is I don't know now what I've done with the other crossover. This is confusing. What have I done with it? Where's it gone? Probably somewhere real obvious.
2 hours later.
Where's the crossover, he says? He can't find it. Oh, it's right there. Black on black. Right, so now I put these both in here. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm actually, even though these aren't the crossovers out of my kit, I'm going to install these today and then just bring the ones that are in my box at home in to work and put them in the box I took these out of, because they're the exact same thing. Okay, so now pop this on. Man, that looks good. Get these in the right position now. Damn, son, I did that well. Fuck, yes, that looks so cool. Just need to make sure I've got them straight and I'm happy. Pretty much on the money right there, okay. Oh. Okay, so hold this one down and mark its hole. boys in. Boom. That was cool. One final touch, guys. There we go. Done. Got the black, I vivided out that white section of foam that you can see from the side. Done. They look so good in there. I'm so happy this hole turned out so much better than that one. That's not bad, but I think I just did a much better job of this one with my cutting and everything like that. And I got these dead aligned up. They look so good. I lined up so straight. I like it. That distance there is the same as that distance there. Yay. But this isn't these pods, this isn't these trims finished yet, guys. I am still going to put in either a acrylic or plexiglass, depending on what I can get, panel or window in this piece here. I'll just get it cut to the exact size that I've got this hole, and then it will hopefully just sort of push in and sit there. And then the other thing I'm going to probably do is, because there is a slight gap in between the crossovers and the panel, and the same for the amplifier and the panel, inside there I'll probably put like some red LED strips, and that way when like it's all on, there'll be some nice sort of red light glowing up from the sides and bouncing off the clear plastic and off the aluminium of the amp. It'll shine up through there. So that's cool. I wonder if I could wire these up. I'd have to know which wires go where, but I don't know which wires go where. Nah, sorry guys, I can't wire them up today because these are my output wires. Well, actually I could wire the output side up, because obviously one of them has come out longer than the other, so this one's definitely going to go to there, and this one is going to go to here. Actually, let's have a quick look at that. Oh, and good, sweet, the output side is on there, that side of it, and the input side is on the left, so that's good. So they'll go to there, they'll go to there. The only thing I won't be able to do is know which one is going to be the left and which one's going to be the right channel, because I don't know which of these wires go where. I didn't label them or anything like that. So maybe I will quickly wire these up. Done, guys. They are fully wired up. I know I said before that I wasn't going to be able to get them to wire up the input side, but I remembered I haven't got the input side wired up at the amplifier yet, so I could wire up the input side. So the inputs and the woofer and the tweeter and woofer outputs on both of them are fully wired up. There is a slight polarity issue with this monster cable that I've got for the woofers and the input side. There's no identification on either side of the cable to know which is positive or negative. So I know which side of the tweeters is positive. There's a clear silver and gold difference there. So all it means is that I'm going to have to wire up each woofer like individually, and then do a pop test at the input side to know which wire at the input side of the crossovers is the positive, so that the woofer ends up firing into the car. That's a bit complicated, but don't worry, I'll figure it out. I'll get everything in phase. So I'm real happy with how this turned out. The hole, like I said, the hole I cut, I think turned out brilliant. I managed to retain this jack lever thing, which is what I wanted to do. That's still in its original position, and there's a nice real thin barrier of foam between the crossover and that. Didn't even have to go all the way up to it. They're sitting at exactly the right height. They're secured, they're not going anywhere. This still pops on. This is secured down, not going anywhere. Obviously I can put some red LEDs down inside here at some point, and then once I've got the plexiglass over there, it's going to be protected and look real good. But for the time being, what I'm doing, just for the time being to keep them protected, I was using these bits of cardboard, but now that I've got the tin off the backs of these things, I could probably just put these bits in. Maybe I could put them carpet side down. I'm going to keep these anyway, because if come one day when I come to sell the car, if for some reason I can't get another one of these, at least I can just have those pop back in there and I can like glue them from the backside. But I think I might put that in there just for the time being to protect the crossovers from getting any dust or grit on them or scratches, and then I can do the same for the amplifier side, which has already got dust on it. There we go, there's the amplifier side. It doesn't actually like pop all the way in because it's such a tight fit, but it does sit in close enough. So it's only 3:20, so I'm doing quite good for time. I've actually still got, you know, another sort of couple hours I can work on this. Maybe I'll spend some time trying to get the amplifier wired up. Obviously I won't be able to do the front woofer side of things, but I'll be able to do the back woofers and maybe some power supply stuff. But I won't do that in this video. That'll be my next video, so stay tuned if you want to see that. But I'm going to try and spend some time on that now, I think. That looks so good. That's exactly how I wanted it to turn out. I'm happy. The only thing that's different than what my original idea was when I got this car was I was thinking of getting a monoblock and a 4-channel amplifier and having them sort of diagonally staggered there, and then the crossovers could do the same sort of thing. But since I ended up going for a 5-channel, I think just the long ways look works better. And then when you lift this up, that inverter is going to be in that position where you see it now. And then I've got all this other space here to put shit in, which I seem to have some of. I'm super happy with how it turned out. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it or if you like the way I laid them out. Let me know if you're keen for the red LEDs, if you think it's a good idea. Leave any sort of comment. I love hearing you guys' feedback or answering questions for you. I will do a Q&A video soon because I notice a lot of questions are banking up. But overall, thanks for watching this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Choose to be happy, and I'll catch you in my next video. Ka kite anō.